The lights dim, the music swells, and the next A-list actor to walk that red carpet isn't human.
Mm-hmm.
If that sounds like something out of science fiction, you should probably think again.
Yeah.
Hollywood is facing one of the most immediate, most disruptive technological shifts in its entire history. And according to the sources we've gathered, it's happening right now.
We are so far past the theoretical discussions, about deep fakes and basic CGI.
Right.
What our sources are showing is a highly capitalized, really organized effort to fundamentally replace or maybe redefine human star power using artificial intelligence.
This isn't just a new tool, then?
No, not at all. This is a complete disruption of the core infrastructure of film and television.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, to take the articles, the research, and all the notes you've shared with us and really synthesize the current state of play around these AI stars.
Yeah, and we're going to look at it from 3 angles.
Exactly. 3 interconnected worlds. The audacious creative ambition that birthed this whole concept, the cold, hard business infrastructure that's supporting it, and of course the critical labor union response that's trying desperately to keep up.
And we've managed to gather insights from, really the 3 poles of this whole emerging field. We have the creator who is launching an AI talent.
Okay.
A high-profile tech CEO who is physically establishing this new business model in Hollywood.
Yeah, the big one.
And the president of the biggest acting union in the world. So we really get this 3-dimensional view of the whole conflict.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're moving straight from this sort of abstract threat of AI to the specific named people and companies that are already working in the industry.
And seeking major roles.
Let's start on the creation side with the birth of a new kind of star. Our sources introduce us to a specific AI talent. Her name is Tilly Norwood. And we need to really emphasize that she's described as being totally unlike any other aspiring star because she is, and this is the quote, entirely generated by artificial intelligence.
And what's fascinating here, the really interesting part, is that the creators aren't just, testing the waters with a side character.
No.
Eline Van der Velden, who is the creative force behind Tilly, has stated her goal very publicly, and it's a high-stakes goal. She's not aiming for the middle ground. She is trying to produce, and I'm quoting again, the Scarlett Johansson of the AI genre.
Wow, that's a staggering declaration of intent.
It is.
I mean, think about the cultural weight of that statement. Scarlett Johansson isn't just a successful working actress. She's a global A-lister.
A cultural icon.
A huge box office draw. Her presence alone can get a massive project greenlit. It can command these enormous upfront fees and back-end deals.
It's a completely intentional statement to the market. It's very calculated. When Eline Van der Velden sets a human A-lister as the benchmark for a non-human creation, she is telling the industry something very specific.
Which is what?
That this technology is not aiming to replace, background actors or digital stunt doubles. It is targeting the roles, the leading roles, the ones that generate immense global revenue and cultural capital.
Okay, but is it just really high-stakes PR to get investors? If she's aiming to be the Scarlett Johansson of the AI genre, doesn't that immediately open them up to, likeness lawsuits?
That's a great question.
Or are they confident that they've somehow sidestepped that legal landmine by defining Tilly as an original generated asset?
The sources seem to suggest the ambition isn't about perfect realism, not yet, anyway. It's about establishing the economic category.
Well, explain that.
Scarlett Johansson represents a highly valuable, highly recognizable intellectual property. She's a brand.
Right.
Eline Van der Velden is essentially saying, we are creating IP that will compete with human IP. Not just we are producing a digital performance. And that distinction is crucial.
Because
the monetization model just completely shifts. It goes from an acting contract to a licensing model.
That's a fundamentally different product.
Yeah.
A human A-lister requires constant negotiation for every new project, every country, every single rerun.
Exactly.
But a successful AI star, once it's created, could theoretically just be licensed for infinite reuse across endless projects.
Yeah.
You eliminate all those traditional friction points.
Precisely. It sets the bar extremely high right out of the gate, and it grounds the whole conversation in commercial and cultural terms, not just technical ones. And that ambition immediately validates the need for a financial infrastructure.
Which is why the conversation shifts so quickly from the creative lab to the funding engine.
Yeah, aspiration is one thing, but that kind of ambition, it needs massive financial backing to become a reality.
And the sources confirm that backing exists.
Yeah. Oh, it exists.
Yeah.
And it's physically embedded in the operational heart of the industry.
So we're introduced to Kevin Reilly. He's the CEO of a company called Kartel. And the location of this company is the detail I find most disruptive. It's not some research lab in Silicon Valley that might, one day partner with Hollywood.
No.
Kartel is specifically identified as a Beverly Hills tech startup.
And this is where that location detail becomes so important for understanding the tension here. Beverly Hills, especially the area right around the major agencies and studios, it's not just a zip code.
It's a power center.
It is a deeply ingrained power center. When we talk about Hollywood, we're really talking about this very specific geographical hub.
So when a tech CEO like Kevin Reilly sets up Kartel right there, he's signaling that he intends to directly compete within the ecosystem.
Right. He's not just trying to sell a service to it.
He wants to be part of it.
He's actively fighting for the same parking spots. He's having lunch at the same power restaurants, trying to poach the same talent agents as the major studios he's trying to disrupt. The fact that a dedicated tech startup, Kartel exists in the geographical epicenter of Hollywood, that shows this isn't some niche experiment.
It's a clear, financially backed business strategy.
Exactly.
It sounds like the technology isn't just being developed for Hollywood, it's being developed inside Hollywood.
Making sure they are integrated into the existing ecosystem of deal-making and financing right from day one.
It absolutely solidifies the commercial context. This is the difference between, say, a proof of concept and a true industry disruption.
They've built the corporate structure around the digital product. They're ensuring they can market AI talent, infinitely reproducible talent, directly to studio executives.
And you have to imagine that pitch is compelling. This transforms AI talent from something that might happen someday into a standardized, commercially available product line. If the sources are right, this company is selling an asset you can reuse infinitely that only requires a single large upfront investment.
And it circumvents ongoing payroll, set fees, the headache of multi-year contracts, escalating star demands.
All of it.
Think about the risk reduction for a studio. Instead of betting, say, $20 million on a human star who might become difficult or get sick or demand reshoots,
You invest in an asset like Tilly Norwood.
an asset whose appearance, performance, and availability are entirely controllable and replicable at scale. The money is flowing because this is seen as a way to control the high costs and the unpredictability that comes with A-list talent.
The business engine is not waiting for permission. It's funding the disruption directly, right in the traditional corridors of power.
But every financial push like this in Hollywood creates a necessary counter perspective.
The Leica response.
Labor response.
When you introduce a financially backed product that's meant to replace the highest paid human talent and potentially just eliminate the biggest line item in a studio budget, you create an immediate, monumental, and frankly, an existential conflict for labor.
Which is why the sources dedicate so much attention to the union's position. We get the direct viewpoint of SAG-AFTRA, the actors union.
And they are facing an unprecedented challenge.
Absolutely.
The figure representing that perspective is Sean Astin, who's the current SAG-AFTRA president.
All right.
The union's focus, according to our sources, is squarely on the impact of AI on Hollywood and the actors union. They recognize this is an immediate crisis, not some distant threat.
And this raises a really important kind of technical question for you to think about. What is the unique challenge that AI poses to a union like SAG-AFTRA? Something that goes beyond the normal worries about automation.
The mechanism of disruption.
The mechanism is what's critical here.
Okay, so traditionally, when a union negotiates, the competition is another human being, another actor who might take the job for less money. But Tilly Norwood isn't another actor. She's not operating within a limited framework of, time and biological necessity.
Right. Human actors need to be paid for their time, their likeness, their performance. It's a whole structure built on minimums, pensions, health contributions, residuals.
But an AI-generated entity, especially one that's aiming for A-list status and infinite replication, it exists completely outside of that traditional labor framework.
Completely.
So let's get into the technical mechanics of the conflict. The traditional model of residuals, getting a share of revenue when a performance is reused, that's all based on time worked and your physical appearance in a production.
Yes.
If Tilly Norwood performs in a movie, and then that movie is streamed 1 million times,
Yeah.
what does that trigger legally? What happens?
That is the technical crux that Sean Astin and the union have to solve. The entire negotiation shifts. It goes from negotiating fair pay for a performance
To what?
to negotiating control and compensation for the data used to create the performance, and then the licensing of the output that's generated from it.
So if an actor agrees to be digitally scanned for a role, how does SAG-AFTRA make sure that scan doesn't become the foundational data for the next generation of AI stars? The ones that will compete directly with the original human.
That's the nightmare scenario. The sources suggest the union is pushing to define AI performances not as a performance that deserves a residual,
But as...
a licensing fee.
And that's a key distinction.
A huge one. A licensing fee is a lump sum. It's for a specific use over a defined period. The union is trying to ring-fence the usage. They are basically saying, you can buy the AI's likeness and ability for this movie for 5 years, but then you have to pay again.
They're trying to create an artificial scarcity in a product that is inherently infinite.
You've got it. Because if the studios can infinitely replicate the digital essence of an actor without any ongoing payroll, the union loses its leverage.
Completely.
Sean Astin, as the president, is facing this unprecedented task of protecting thousands of members against competition that doesn't eat or sleep or acquire health insurance or a pension.
It's a fight over the fundamental definition of work itself.
The difficulty lies in fitting this new technological square peg into the very old, very established round hole of union contracts. It's a fight over who owns the value generated when a digital entity like Tilly Norwood achieves global celebrity. The fact that the sources center Astin's response tells you this is not just some regulatory issue. It's an immediate collective bargaining crisis.
It puts the union in a completely reactive position, forced to catch up to technology that has already been financially backed and positioned right in the heart of their industry. So what does this all mean for you? We started this deep dive looking at the massive shift facing Hollywood. And what we found is that it's not theoretical at all. It's specific, it's intentional, and it's immediate.
We've seen that specific, almost extreme goal, the creator Eline Van der Velden aiming for the Scarlett Johansson of the AI genre with Tilly Norwood.
We've seen the profound business commitment.
Proven by Kevin Reilly's Beverly Hills-based Kartel AI, which is positioning an infinitely reusable asset right where all the deal-making happens.
And we've seen this serious counter-response from SAG-AFTRA President Sean Astin, who has to address this immediate disruptive impact on human labor by redefining core concepts like residuals and likeness for the digital age.
The key takeaway here is that AI actors are not a future threat being discussed in think tanks. They are a present, highly capitalized reality that demands immediate, non-stop negotiation from creators, from financiers, and from labor leaders all across Los Angeles.
The game is already in progress.
And the outcomes are going to reshape the entire global entertainment infrastructure.
And that really leads us to our final thought for you to consider, building on everything we've unpacked today. If an AI star like Tilly Norwood actually achieves the cultural impact and the box office fame of a human A-lister, how does that fundamentally change the very definition of artistic celebrity, of performance, and authenticity? And what entirely new forms of legal and creative ownership must Hollywood invent, not for a digital tool, but for a globally famous yet non-human asset?